Okay, today is 13th, Sunday, and I had a dream, and it was in the wee hours of the morning, somewhere probably like 9, 10 o'clock. I got up at 11 something, so maybe somewhere around 10:30. I was still sleeping. I was in and out of my sleep, waking up, going back to sleep, waking up and going back to sleep. Felt extremely tired, more than usual this morning, but nonetheless, I had a dream. In the dream, I don't even know where I was. It was just like I was somewhere, right? In maybe a house. I don't know where I was. I was somewhere. And I remember the dream starting to where I could hear, like, I'm being privileged to encounter listening in on a phone call. And so it was like my mom was on the phone talking to a guy, and I got the sense that it was a white guy for some reason. And she was on the phone, and she was putting on, she was trying to play nice at first about some situation. He was asking her to identify herself. He was asking her to identify herself in order to receive something. And she was trying to give him the information. She just kept on snapping, like, what else do you need? I can tell you this, I can tell you that. I tell you this, I could tell you that. And the guy, I guess whatever the information she was providing wasn't the right information. And so he wasn't allowing her to receive. I got the feeling of that it was some type of money. And I'll tell you why later. And so, it's so strange. Anyways, she was mad, and then so she was on the phone and she was playing nice at first, and then when he basically was saying like, no, you can't have it, she snapped out and she kind of went off and called him all kinds of names like F you, SOB, and da-da-da-da. She was cursing him out or whatever, and I didn't hear anything else with him on the phone. She just flipped out. But it wasn't that he was saying, matter of fact, I'm sorry, let me back up, because I remember later. He wasn't saying no, he was just saying that you have to provide him with certain information. And if you don't get the information back in a certain, that's what it was. I'm sorry, excuse me. If you don't get this information back at a certain time, then, it's nothing that he can do about it. But she took it as a no. And because she took it as a no, she cursed him out. That's what happened. So excuse me, I had to backtrack on that. So again, let's just reiterate. She was on the phone with a guy. I got the sense he was a white guy. He was trying to get her to give him the certain kind of and to get her to give him the certain kind of information that he needed in order to give her whatever this money that she was asking for. And she was giving him information, but it wasn't, I guess, all the information that he needed in order to approve her or whatever. And so he told her, that she needs to get the information, and she took it as him saying no, he's not going to give her the money. And she cursed him out and called him all kinds of names, SOBs, FUs, da-da-da. So she went from being nice, portraying that she's a nice person. I got the sense of, because the way that she was talking, it was like not really her. This is my mom that's in this dream, just trying to put on the front like this is who she was, and it genuinely wasn't. She was really like a nasty person, and it showed in the end when she thought that she couldn't get what she wanted. So she turned, very nasty and cruel. And so that was it with the conversation. Like the two of them was on the phone, but I don't even know how I was on my phone and was able to hear. So it was like we were on a three-way call almost, but they didn't know that I was on the phone. Like he didn't know and she didn't know that I was on the phone listening in to both parties or whatever. And so I remember after that, the dream goes to she's outside. Now, the thing about being outside she was dressed up, and she started crying, right? And when she started to cry, I saw her crying, and it made me sad to see her upset and crying that she didn't get what she was looking for or whatever. And so I go to try to, I walk up to her, and mind you, I'm still in my night clothes. I don't have a bra on. I'm walking around outside looking crazy, and everywhere I look around me, everybody is dressed up. Everybody's dressed up and got their clothes on and ready to go about their day. And it looked like they were at like a church. I don't know why I got the feeling like it was a church setting, but it wasn't a church setting, if that makes sense. But everybody was dressed and ready. But the funny thing was, everybody was dressed in all black. I did notice that. And I noticed that a lot of people that I was noticing there also were people that I knew, that I was familiar with, old past friendship people and stuff like that. So anyway, I go up to my mom and I pull her to the side because she was talking to somebody or whatever, and I think she was getting a hug from somebody because she was crying and she was really upset. Anyway, I walk up to her and I try to explain to her, like, you know, Mom, you're upset for like no reason, like, you know, you should calm down, and trying to let her know, like, you know, trying to help her. Basically, I was trying to help her and explain to her what the guy was basically saying. And then she was like, so again, it was these people around, and mind you, I'm outside and I didn't have any clothes on, like I wasn't dressed. I was the only one not prepared. I was the only one not dressed. I was the only one looking a mess or whatever. And so I remember her telling me to walk with her or come with her. So she pulled me walking into the direction and going into the building where everybody was dressed. Everybody was there. Everybody was ready and prepared for whatever was going on. And I'm walking in and I'm holding my boobs like, you know, excuse me, y'all, pardon me. I'm trying to talk to my mom, trying to help her, trying to get her together, trying to be there for her. Meanwhile, I'm looking a hot mess and everybody's stopping and looking at me. Some people were stopping and staring like, the hell going on? And I'm still trying to help her. And I realized that, hey, I need to go I was like, Mom, I gotta go. Like, I gotta get dressed. Like, I gotta get dressed. I look a hot mess out here. And she got me inside of this facility, this place. I don't know where we are, but I know that it was where a lot of people were coming into. A lot of people were dressed. A lot of people had on and black and was just ready and prepared. And I wasn't. And I realized I wasn't dressed. And I'm sitting there, and I remember walking through the crowd like, pardon me, excuse me, I ran past a friend of mine, and she was looking at me like, girl. And I was like, I know. I was just basically saying, I'm trying to help my mom. I'm going to get dressed in a minute. Like, I'm about to be dressed in a little bit. But I was holding my boobs like this, so I ain't have a bra on. I had on a baggy shirt. I just looked a mess. And meantime, my main focus was trying to help my mom situate her and get her out of her feelings and calm her down and let her, you know, understand where she went wrong at and X, Y, and Z. So, boom, I started to leave out of the facility. And as I'm leaving out of the facility, I see there's a mat on the floor, and it was like a rug, but it was pulled up. And so then I placed it back down correctly. The rug, I placed it back down. And then when I looked up, there was a girl that I recognized, an old family member that I haven't seen in a very long time. Her name was Sierra or whatever. And she looked at me and I looked at her and I was like, Sierra? And she was like, I was just looking at you like, is that her? Like, she recognized me, but I didn't look the same. And she didn't look the same either. She looked like she had lost a lot of weight. She was in shape or whatever. I noticed because I noticed her belly was flat, and usually she's a chunkier kind of girl. Anyway, so I give her a hug and I end up leaving to go get dressed, and that was it. That was the end of the dream. And so I was just thinking about this dream, like how it was a couple of things that stood out. Like, one, how am I listening in on this conversation? How am I privileged to this conversation? You know, on the phone, and I'm listening, and I keep getting the feeling of, like, you know, the people who is close to me be like a distraction, and also not only are they a distraction, but I get the closeness because it was my mom who distracted me from being ready and prepared. It was her who, you know, because she was going through what she was going through, it tugged on my heartstrings, and I just wanted to help her. But in doing so, helping her caused me to not be prepared. And everyone's looking at me like, why aren't you dressed? Why aren't you together? Like, what do you got going on or whatever? And so, I don't know. I just wanted to record this because I need time to think further about what the Lord was trying to tell me in this. I do understand that there was distractions. I do understand that it comes from people who's close to you. And the fact that my mom led me into this building knowing that I looked a mess, knowingly knowing that I wasn't dressed at all, but she was okay with allowing me to, be seen looking like that. That's another thing that's kind of popping out to me. Another thing is something about that rug. Like the rug won't right. You know what I'm saying? It like almost like the rug being could have tripped me up. Like I could have tripped on the rug, but I didn't. I noticed it and I fixed it. So the rug wasn't slipped from underneath of me. It was like I fixed it. I fixed the issue. I was able to fix it before I fell or before I slipped and tripped or anything. Another thing that I noticed was the people were wearing black and stuff. And I noticed that a lot of people that I was remembering weren't really, like they were family or friends, but they really weren't really my friend. They really didn't care too much about me. Like these people have hurt me in my past. And the fact that they were wearing black made me feel like, people pretending to be friends to me or like they love me or care about me, but in all reality they don't. And they don't mind letting you go out and distracting you from being prepared and all kinds of things. What else stood out to me? I knew that I had to go and get prepared. I knew that I needed to go home and get myself prepared. And that's what I got out of the dream, that I wasn't ready. And everybody else was ready but me. But the people around me wasn't like, girl, you need to go in the house and go get yourself together. No, they were just looking at me like, oh. They just looked at me like, hey. Like that, like, girl. But she alright, whatever. That kind of feel. Anyway, that was it for that. Amen, amen. I figured it out.